Hello, everybody. First and foremost, I would like to apologize for the quite late coming. It's actually our first webinar. We transmit on LinkedIn. So, well, not everything goes as smoothly as expected. So anyway, welcome to our webinar, which topic is shift your product to the green side. Of course, green means circular. My name is Michał Maciukiewicz. At Ergodesign, I'm a senior designer and also a people partner. You can contact me, you can reach me by copying the informations below. So a few words about Ergodesign. Probably you're familiar with our company, but still maybe we have some visitors who are unfamiliar. So first and foremost, we are a consulting and design studio established in 1993. So it's already 30 years of experience in designing and developing new products. So we focus on consumer products, which have a tremendous effect on our everyday lives. Here are a few examples of our design, which we design and develop for the years with our clients. And also, apart from designing new products, we enjoy and we look forward to work with advanced modern technologies. So luckily, last years we had some very interesting projects with some of our customers, very innovative, involving lots of modern technology. So a brief history, but really brief, and it's more like an auto-reflection about where we were, where we were now. So 1990s is the time of wild 90s in Poland, where companies transformed to the companies owned by government transformed to privately owned. So the styling and the form and function was something that our clients usually looked for, and this is what we did. So then 2000s, so we shifted a little bit towards user-centric design. Interestingly, this is the first time where we actually designed a circular project. It was the next wave service design for our client Xlander. Anyway, user-centric was at its top at the moment. And then in 2010s, we moved towards strategy, growth, and change management. So so we started to look for really different opportunities where we can use design as tool for an impact. And well, the times have changed, and here we are. Right now, we are one of the leading design companies in Europe, which specializes in circular design. And we actually put really much effort to developing our circular by Ergodesign program. So plenty of knowledge built here, and also very interesting content like circular podcasts and of course many workshops. And right now we in like 1 year or 2 years we started to really design first circular projects, and right now they're under implementation or they're already implemented. So I think what we can benefit from contact with us is that we actually know what's circular design in real life. Well, of course, the world is changing, and we want to change along with it. So this is the quote by one of our clients. What we learned from this quote is that our clients and in general the business is more and more conscious about the effect of global warming, effect of global pollution in the world, and that we need to act. Of course, it's not novelty, but it's really novelty when it comes to understanding the business. So right now we live in the very complex system of interdependencies, which means that our products, the planet, the environment, and the users are not linear, but it's everything is all linked together. So when you think about circularity in design, so you need to also design all these connections between those three aspects. So a few words about linear economy, so we can be at the same level of knowledge. So linear, of course, is a model where you take sources from the ground, virgin materials, then you put this into production, and then you use it just simply as that, and then you dispose it. It becomes waste, and of course, this is the situation we don't want to keep going. So the idea of circular economy is to take from the components, the materials we already used, we already manufactured. So we can keep everything in the loop. So we can keep everything in the ecosystem, and then we can keep the value of resources and materials. We can keep the value of parts and components which already are manufactured, and the whole products, because quite often they're perfectly okay to use still. So yeah, the first stage is sustainability, but it's not enough. It's only to harm less the environment. The second level, which we aim for right now, is the circularity. So we design without waste. We design in this way, so the waste is not an issue because there is no waste. And but it's not the end, because after circularity there's also regeneration, so we can fix what we actually spoiled throughout the years. So this is the stage we're not currently at yet. Circularity just begins. So yeah, Nat Hunter, the former co-director of design on the Royal Society of Arts, is a brilliant quote. We really like it. So days of sustainable design are gone, and now we must learn to think about life cycles, and designers have to have a key role to play. Yeah. So the term life cycle is crucial here. So it's not only materials, it's not only the way of manufacturing, but also the whole system which is around the product. And well, maybe if you found a better argument to look for design companies that design to have experience in sustainable design, then let me know. But the 70% of the product's environmental impact is defined at the design process stage. So I think that designers really have crucial role to play in developing circular products, and therefore, of course, better sustainable present and of course the future. And how we achieve that? So right now at Ergodesign, we believe there are three main stages of how we should approach the circular design of products. So first, we need to ask ourselves the question: where's the impact? Then, what really is our challenge? And at last, but well, this is the most visible stage. I will explain it later. But what's the solution? What's the best fitted solution we can use? So starting from the first stage, where's the impact? We need to specify two different approaches, because sometimes we design a generation of products which has a predecessor, so it's actually existing product. So we can use a data-based approach to assess where the impact is. So we can learn from the past generation and then fix some issues which harm the environment. And the second approach is when we have a new product which is not commonly known, maybe is a new generation, maybe not a generation, sorry, maybe is a totally new kind of the product. So if we don't have data, we need to base on benchmarks. So here is the highlight of how we can measure impact. This is actually a screen the photograph from one of our workshops. We call this exercise product inside out. So we can disassemble the product and assess its component by capabilities. Sorry, not capabilities, but how they being worn out throughout the time, and which value the specific components hold throughout the years. So then we can fix the criteria of how the product should be, for example, easy to fix, or which materials must be picked differently. Another example comes from our exhibition and one of the events we held last year during Beauty and Design Days. It was an exhibition called the Story of One Plastic Kettle. And it's actually interesting because in 1996 we designed a kettle which happened to be indestructible. So the funny thing is that through the nearly 30 years of production, the manufacturer, the Zelmer brand, ordered, I think, 7 sets of injection molds. So this product is extremely popular. You can see it everywhere in Poland. And we try to assess what impact this product had in total on environment. So it turned out that approximately 1,926 tons of products, but also the components, the materials were manufactured. So it's a huge number. And when we, of course, we didn't make this assessment when we designed this project in 1996, but right now we can of course think about the real impact that our decisions has on the environment, and this is something that is really you need to think about. And with existing products, also we had undoubtedly pleasure of working with GreenCell. GreenCell is a fantastic company. It's a manufacturer of electronic equipment from Krakow. Really great designs, really good quality products. However, we assessed the circularity of those products. So we took them to our hands, and then we examined each and every aspect of the product, so we can determine what solutions might be the best when it comes to circular design. So it was really hard work, really lots of evaluation, and the result was quite interesting. However, I'm not authorized to disclose any details of it. And so when it comes to new products, so we need to base on benchmarks which are present on the market. So from this we can assess, for example, what's the consumption of the energy, or what's the harm in materials we use. And sometimes it's not the best solution to buy a new product because it's not more sustainable. It generates waste, but sometimes not. Sometimes when we think, for example, about refrigerator, then when it comes to old models, there is, for example, really high energy consumption. So we need to assess whether it's maybe it's more ecological to design new one, more energy efficient. The material is not that much of a problem. So yeah, we do this a lot. Okay, so what we need to take under consideration too is the law, of course, because the law is one of the key forces that are bringing us closer to the circular reality. Because at the end of the day, this might be one of the few, if not the only one, if not only reason for the manufacturers to shift to the circular design approach. So there are a few legislations we need to pay attention to. So it's the EU Strategy for Sustainable Textiles, and it's the Right to Repair law, which is actually implemented right now. And of course, digital product passport, which will be implemented, and we can learn about the stage of implementation of those laws by looking at circular legislation training. and we monitor it a lot. And of course, it's very important, and it affects our work. Of course, the user is highly important because, of course, we have many conscious users, very conscious, but also there are some skeptics throughout the world. So we need to pick solutions which suit each and every user the most, and we need to pay attention to identify those groups. So as the insight, develop very highly interesting, let's say, circular archetypes. So we have egoists, so they care about circularity and sustainability, but only if it benefits themselves. There are moderates, which are more conscious, but still they want to build an image of sustainable themselves. There are many smart users. Smart, of course, it's so they're curious and interested, but yeah, they look for what's in it for me. And also we have many devoted users who will adapt circularity with great pleasure, and of course they look for those kind of solutions. Okay, then we need to ask ourselves a question: what's the challenge? If we already know where's the impact? So here's one of our tools. We use it a lot. This is the circular loop canvas, and on this tool we assess the life cycle of the product. So starting from sourcing from production, then again selling, shipping, all life cycle, and then of course there is a crucial part: how to get the product back to the manufacturer or the processing plant. So then we can think about whether it should be renovated, regenerated, and recycled. And we use color code in this approach, in this tool, and it really helps us to understand where the biggest impact is. So of course here you can see highlighted two areas. One is sourcing, and the other one is fixing. So it tells us that the sourcing of the materials might be an issue. And of course, the capabilities of repairing. This is only example. It's not the real representation, but still you can see the heat map being very useful. Here we can also map some initial solutions we can think about in the further stages of design. Then we need to ask ourselves a very crucial question: how mature is the product? Of course, we mean product category on the market. So we can see declining products such as, I don't know, maybe video players. This is prehistoric actually, but still, yeah. If somebody asks us, then we would classify this as decline based. There are mature products on the market which are very commonly known, and we know that this phase is stabilized, so we know what to do with the product. And then there are also products that are being recently introduced and it's growing, such as maybe VR headsets are a good example of this kind of product. So when we know how mature on the market is the product category, then we can start to define the business model we can choose. So there are plenty of those, but and of course there are many hybrids. So to take an example, the classic long life model bases on just designing and manufacturing a product that can stand throughout the years. So maybe the kettle I explained recently would be the nice example of it. But there is also, for example, access model. So you don't sell the product, you benefit from selling the access to the product. And yeah, then when we know the right business model, then we can choose the design strategy for the product. And this is really crucial part of our work, and it really affects the final design, because at this point we need to pick the right solutions that can help us design components properly, design the durability of the product and the components. to choose the right materials, and this is the phase we really need to pay very close attention to. And then there is the third stage. What's the solution? What's the solution we're looking for? And the good thing is here we can use the old good method of 6 REP methodology. So first we can start from roofing, then refuse, reduce, how to reuse the product and recover the components, and then recycle when there is not much option left. Yeah, I already explained this. So let's take an example. Oh, sorry, I should start from this slide. Yeah, so on the Gdynia Design Days, for the exhibition of the story of one plastic kettle, we took the kettle, and first we did was we really thought about, okay, so what's the reality if there's no kettle? I mean, how else? What was the purpose of the kettle? Of course, heating water, so we can make tea or coffee. But then, what's the do we really need to take this form under consideration? Can we think out of the box? And we conducted a brainstorm. There were really lots of interesting solutions that helped eliminate the kettle. Of course, some of are crazy, some of are quite realistic, but just for a little glimpse. So we, for example, thought about the frame of the window acting as a water container. So during the hot days, you can actually take the water from here. We also thought about the hot water straight from the heater, from the radiator. Of course, it wouldn't be the same water which flows. It should be like some kind of energy exchange in it. However, yeah, those ideas were very stimulating, and we often do it and build on those ideas, actually real products, so we can think out of the box. Yeah, but there were actually 3 main concepts that we developed. Of course, those are only concepts, so we have this comfort not to think too much about the possibility of implementation of the product, but they actually suit different strategies. So, for example, this is fully modular kettle, which has a separate heating block. You can disassemble, and then when it's broken, you can fix. There is a link between the body and the heating block. There is also a body which, in case it catches too much the calcium, we cannot wash it, and we can send it back to the manufacturer, so we can send us new or refurbish this. So this fully modular approach, it gives us also the chance to make products much more customizable. So for example, we can imagine that if somebody's bored with the appearance of the product throughout the years, so we can, for example, screw out the handle and maybe order a new one, so we can change the appearance. Okay, the second approach we used, it's products that last. It's long-lasting kettle made of stainless steel. So there are a few very important features of this product we thought about. So first, the use of stainless steel, which is extremely durable, and of course you can regenerate this material. So when it's worn out throughout the years, you can easily polish it. But also, long-lasting products have this very unique characteristic that they can be transferred. Sorry, wrong word. Handed from father to son, of course, and maybe this wear is something we are looking for when we imagine the brass handle. So it polishes throughout the use. So we know that there were generations of people use this product, and of course they keep a high value when it comes to selling it back to the market as a used product. So yeah, long-lasting product. And of course, we used this very basic approach is product which is designed for recycling. So we focus on reducing the amount of components building this product. So there is a single element which shapes the body. There is single lead, and of course there is minimized stand with electronics inside. But what's really interesting about this product, the concept is that it's fully transparent. So it turns out that transparent plastics, they keep the highest value when you want to sell them back to the process. So you can get the material back for further manufacturing. So yeah, we focused also on keeping the high quality, high value of the product. But that was all. We didn't do much of design change, aesthetic change. We focused on materials and reducing the number of elements. And of course, we did it after assessing the impact of the product, as I mentioned before. Okay, so here are a few examples of the products and brands we develop with our clients. So one of them is Prosperplast, very big company, manufacturer of plastics. So of course, as a manufacturer of plastics, they need to really pay attention to sustainable products because at the end the plastic is what was the problem the most. But they do that, and they actually manufacture most of their products from very clean polypropylene. So we can very easily recycle those materials. And also they developed recently the full lines made out of only recycled plastic. So of course there is a great impact, and there comes great responsibility when you manufacture from plastic. Yeah, this one actually won this year's Red Dot Design Award. We picked it on Monday. So yeah. Okay, next example is the temperature controller we designed for Darko. Darko is manufacturer of ventilation equipment located in Debica. So this approach was slightly different. So here we focused on reduction of other products which are needed for the whole system, and also we also used Poka-Yoke methodology. So it's the way of designing things so you can assemble them only in one correct way. So there is no mistake when you try to assemble the product. Yeah, and this product is very easy to disassemble. So we thought about the whole life cycle of the product. This one actually won IF Design Award. Yeah, also there is a very important feature of this object, because we very often forget about how the design, when it comes to aesthetics, the form of the product affects its ability to being a circular product. So here, this is really simple. This is really sleek, very minimal. So we believe that it's going to be. Sorry, I don't know the English word, but it can stand through the decades, being very neutral. So you don't need to get rid of it when you renovate your place. Okay, so again, what's the solution and what are the tools we use? Here's a glimpse of one of our newest tools. It's called Circular Readiness Canvas. So this tool helps us to assess whether the product we designed is truly circular, and there are some checklists on this tool, so we can assess whether we actually met all the requirements that are very crucial for the proper category of the product. Of course, you cannot you cannot put together, for example, the rate temperature controller and plastic bin, because this product has very different, idea behind them, and they function differently in circular economy. Okay, so then we need to then of course part of the establishing the solution is to pick the right materials. So we can pick from our material library, which is part of our design lab. So we have really big amount of samples, out of which many are circular. Of course, there are also technological samples, and not every material we have is sustainable, but still the library is big and it's growing. So right now we can talk with our clients not only on the solutions shown, for example, on Moodboard on Pinterest, but also we can touch the real thing and assess whether the technology we want to use is good, is suitable for this kind of materials. So we always need to put really much attention to picking it, and of course the proper strategy determines which material shall we use. Because, for example, when we talk about biocomposites, not each and every of them will fit to the idea of extreme product durability and long lasting. So then maybe it's better idea to source from regular plastic, but close the loop when it comes to reprocessing the product. But if we want this to happen, then we need to, of course, design the way how to get the product back from the end user to the proper facility, whether it's a manufacturing plant or whether it's processing station. Yeah. Okay, then of course form and construction plays a crucial role. So here are a few examples we designed. First, they're mobile whiteboards we designed for Memo B, the brand. So here the idea was to well, actually in both products, both shown here. The other one is the air sterilizer for Haxon. We designed. So in both cases, the idea was to provide the maximum modularity as possible. So the product can be very easy to design and reassemble. So if we break some component accidentally, and then we can very easily repair it quite often by ourselves. Of course, when it comes to whiteboards, then probably it's as easy as unscrewing a few screws and then screwing it back together. But also we need to think about when it's electrical device, then maybe repairment by yourself, it's not always a good idea, because first you can assemble something's wrong and then you can harm the user, or if you're the user, then yourself. And the other reason, of course, is so you're not always able to assemble these pieces back together. So you can, so you break the product and then the value is gone. So yeah, you need to pay a lot of attention to how this product should incorporate the idea of circularity. Okay, and maybe last but not least is to design the right CMF. So of course, CMF stands for color, material, and finish. So the new circular materials affect CMF pretty much. So we can expect from the products that they will have new aesthetics, whether we like it or not, because not every product can be perfect. But also we need to think about the end users. Yeah, and as I mentioned before, the technological process is something we need to take really under consideration and really pay attention to it, because it's not difficult to ask our client to make a huge investment in new technology, but it's not the way that we design here. So we try to incorporate to the current technologies the proper materials, and I think it really in most cases, this provides the greatest impact. Yeah, so as I mentioned, the different users will incorporate, actually, how to call it, maybe not enjoy, but will accept, of course, they will accept the right aesthetic, the new aesthetics of the product. So when you think about this mentioned before, egoist users, so they're not really into the idea of circular design or sustainability in general, but when they see a very interesting and very aesthetically well designed color palette of the vacuum cleaners, then they don't necessarily need to know that this comes from the proper material the Electrolux used to this product. So yeah. Then when we think about moderate users, for whom the circularity is like quite closer idea, then we can think about the solutions that highlights, for example, that the product is made of recycled materials. So you have speckles inside, and it's this becomes really more and more popular. So we've seen it on the Red Dot Design Award that there are many new designs that uses speckled materials, and we can expect there's going to be more and more of them. And also it's not purely aesthetic feature, but it's very often it comes from the proper materials, with, for example, natural additions. Okay, then we have smart archetypes. So, for example, this form of the product is very regular, so it's very uniform. It's very simple, so it's a rounded block, but the CMF, it does the job. It does it all, really. So he can benefit from the regular product, which probably is not exposed to some very harsh physical conditions. So this material doesn't have to be super durable, but there is marbling. There is very interesting effect the manufacturer obtained. So yeah. So you see this product, and you can clearly see it comes from processed plastics. And then we have this, let's say, the users that are on the end of the let's say classifications, the most devoted to the idea of circular economy. So for them, the incorporation of the circular aesthetics is highly desirable. So they can, for example, like this shoes. So they can sort of course, not to stigmatize anybody, but to manifest how they think about the environmental consequences of their choices. So yeah, and of course the clothing market is something we need to look at very carefully. Okay, so what's next? What's beyond? What can we expect from the changing world? So yeah, the new circular aesthetics are something that we will observe very in the nearest futures, and of course we can observe it in the products that are manufactured right now and in production. So this aesthetic is gonna shift, gonna change, because it's not always gonna be perfect, but it's always gonna be it's always gonna communicate some really key crucial aspects of the product, such as sourcing, for example. Or this example is interesting, the Xbox controller. So here you can clearly see that replacing some components of the controller doesn't affect its aesthetics, because the diversity of materials and the colors is incorporated in the idea of this product. So there are also solutions very convincing. So we can think about products in this way. Circular experiences, of course, this also it's starting to happen when we think about new business models like access instead of ownership, or the distribution of the products. For example, in Poland there is a very popular paczkomat. The metal box you can pick up packages. Of course, it's developing in other countries too, and it's probably present at the moment. We were one of the first. So yeah, it's our national success. But yeah, also this helps optimize the logistical chains. So also it really benefits to the idea of sustainable environment and logistics. Also, we can see how companies start to offer previously owned products. So they are not the worst. Sometimes people even look for it. There's a very interesting case of how furniture to the public spaces are being bought in Netherlands. So you can either choose from products that are made of recycled materials, or you can pick the access not ownership model, or you can buy the used one. So there are three solutions. You can choose whatever you like, but all those three, they support the idea of circularity. And of course, we have reusable packaging system. So we use the same package more than once. And also new circular product strategies. So yeah, manufacturers are more and more conscious about the decisions of the customers, how do they buy the products. So they really need to think about the life cycle. But of course, when you think about technological products such as this shown dual sound level by Plug & Olufsen speaker, then the technology changes. So how, for example, how can we know that in 10 years this Bluetooth module, which is in the speaker, will be still operational, so we can use the speaker? So they thought about it. Of course, they even get the cradle certificate for this product, being one of the first electronic products that get this certificate. But you have the streaming module that you can replace. So we can imagine that in 10 years there's going to be a really new way of streaming audio. So you can just simply change one PCB board, and that would be all. You have fully operational product you can still use. Not to mention the replaceable battery, very convenient, very easy to replace by the user. So those solutions were incorporated in the product when at the stage of picking the right product strategy. So it's absolutely crucial to understand those and to understand the end user, how to fit exactly the right solution for the group we're aiming for. And that would be all for today. So thank you for listening to me. Then I think we can proceed to the Q&A session. However, you need to be very, I need to apologize because this is the first time I do it. And so maybe I would need a second to examine how to do it properly. So, okay, that's good. Well, of course, there is also the delay between my transmission and yours. So okay, just a second. Sorry. And hopefully I can get to the discussion. Okay, we don't have any comments so far. "16 people watching though, so I really hope that maybe we can answer some questions from the viewing list. Oh, Piotr. Hello, Piotr. Good to hear from you again. Can you recommend any toolbox or books with circular design approach? Yes, actually, I can recommend. Of course, I can recommend first and foremost following us on social media and to look for our podcast Circular by Ergodesign, where you can hear many interesting facts. There's also a website, Circular by Ergodesign, so you can check some freebies right there. Actually, I have a very good book in front of me. So it's this one. It's a product that lasts, and this is very good literature. So we took really lots of very valuable insights from it, and of course, just to make a little teaser. Very soon we're gonna start our shop, and you will be able to buy very interesting stuff, methodics, but also hardware from there. Yeah, and of course, Ellen MacArthur Foundation is one of the best sources for information so far. Okay, I hope I answered your question. Good. Second, Mikołaj Dymowski. Hello, Mikołaj. Good to hear from you again. No questions. I just wanted to thank you for this inspiring presentation. I'm pretty glad you liked it. Sorry for being late at first. First times are always difficult. But yeah, I think it's not the last one we conduct. So it was good to thank you for joining. Okay, Maciej Panas. Hello, Maciej. I have a feeling that sustainability is an onion-like problem. The deeper you go, the more complex the topic. How do you decide on what measures have the most impact? Yeah, you're absolutely right. So we actually learn a lot each and every time we design new products which are circular. So first we started from picking the right. At first we started from picking the right product strategy, but this approach didn't always was the best to understand where the real problem is. So as I mentioned on the first slides of the presentations, so we need to assess where the potential impact is. And of course, we start from materials, we start from energy. We look how the materials are being sourced, whether they come from, for example, recycling or are they virgin materials or are they biocomposites. Then we look for energy consumption. Then we look at the company's capabilities, for example, for services, because there is no circularity with no getting the product back. So it's really important that the product that's being manufactured and used actually goes back into the ecosystem. But you need to, in Polish, wyegzekwować. In English, I'm not sure how to force actually the user to bring it back or to put it into the right place. Yeah. So yeah, but I absolutely agree with you. It's only unlike problem. And also, I didn't mention this in this webinar because it's very difficult and complex thing, but it's also greenwashing. So, for example, you need to really execute. Sorry, there is a delay. There is a really major problem, for example, with aesthetics of products that are green. Yeah, so you manufacture something that has some speckles inside. It's green, and you label it. It's circular. It's sustainable. Well, it's not always so simple. Yeah. Or on the other hand, when you look at biocomposites, usually they're a good idea, but still, for example, in Poland, we don't have much infrastructure to process those bioplastics. So you need specific conditions so they can disintegrate. And when you look at it, sometimes it might be better to design something from plastic, best from recycling, but it could be virgin plastic that gives high value. And when locally you have good processing capabilities, then it's fine. But you need to make sure that it doesn't leak to the ecosystem, that it doesn't leak, so it's a waste. So always look at bringing the product back to the manufacturer. Okay, sorry for the long answer, but I hope that I exposed this onion like problem a little bit. Okay, so last moments for the questions, and then I think we're fine. Maybe one or two, if any. Okay. A good rule of thumb is to apply the rule: reduce, reuse, recycle, and in that order. Yes, absolutely. 5R, sorry, 6R, because there is also riffing at the beginning, but 6R rule is absolutely crucial. So you need always to think about at first whether there is another way of doing the product, or what should it do. This is what I mentioned when I talked about the plastic kettle. So the goal is to boil water, but how do we obtain it? Maybe the kettle is not something we look for. Okay, last question, please. Well, if there isn't any, then there is nothing left for me to do than to say thank you for joining us today. Again, I encourage you to have a look at our social media, to follow us. So there's going to be plenty of interesting content posted. And of course, let's stay in touch. Please don't hesitate to ask us for anything, whatever we can help with. So thank you very much, and see you next time.